I got you guys at a really funky angle. I'm going to try to record my sharpening on the new Hapstone V7 that I recently purchased. I'm going to be using the Protech Newport. Already got it taped up. Now I couldn't really find anything online about this. I didn't know whether or not the tape needed bench or the bench needed tape to help prevent scratching of the blade. So I went ahead and taped it. I'd rather have it not need it than to need it not have it. So I taped up the guards here and I taped up the actual resting plate. Now the stones I'm going to be using tonight are Shapton Pro stones that I recently purchased from Chef Knives to Go. I'm going to start with the 320 grit. As you can see with the Hapstone, nothing is set for you. You have to set it all up yourself. And the reason that is because this thing accepts so many different size stones and is really, really versatile in comparison to, say, the Edge Pro. And that's pretty good right there. I still got some slack to play in the spring, but when it's fully trapped, that stone's going nowhere. I need to make sure that my knife is also set properly on the table here. So you want the edge just over the lip. And that includes the tip. So I'm going to move this up the guide here. I've got the main portion of the guide set. Now I'm going to move up the middle portion. That's looking pretty good. Check the other side, make sure it's lined up. So now when I lay the knife on the bench and push backwards, everything's where it needs to be. Now, my table's not fully stable, so you can see there's a little wobble. I'm going to place a little mat underneath it. That'll hopefully prevent that from occurring. Alright, got that squared away. Next up, I'm going to put two little marks just to represent where I've got the knife on the table, so when I lay it back down on each side, it'll give me a visual reference that I'm in the right spots. Not required, but it does help with consistency. Finally, need to set my angle. Now with this Hapstone system, you've got a built-in guide for your stone thickness, which is fucking awesome. Wish the Edge Pro had thought of that. That'd save you a ton of time. So I'm just going to go with what the Hapstone has set for 20 degrees. Let's see where that is in comparison to what's currently on this edge. So I'm taking it off on the shoulder and not the bevel. So I'm going to drop that, or rather raise that, up to 25 degrees. And that's pretty much removing all the Sharpie. So 25 degrees. That seems to be the standard, it seems, these days for most edges. I'm just going to go with what's there. I'm not going to change the angle. Now I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now there's a ton of ways to sharpen knives with the Hapstone as well as the Edge Pro. So if my technique is not the same as your technique, that doesn't make me right, and that doesn't make you wrong. So for any of you Hapstone and Edge Pro pros, if you don't like my technique, I apologize. Please forgive me. But this is just how I do it. Now unfortunately with these stones, they are going to be a bit messy, so for those of you who don't like using a lot of water, or who don't like making a mess with these systems, well, you may not like my video. I like to use a lot of water. As far as pressure goes, I'm putting 0 pressure down on this stone, letting the stone do all the cutting. When I get to the very tip, I'm stopping so the tip is about right there on the stone. So how is the Hapstone compared to the Edge Pro? Well, I do like the magnet a whole lot. I'm still trying to get used to the length. The arm is much longer than my Edge Pro. Consequently, I'm constantly hitting stuff behind me. And plus with that magnet, you don't have, you know, full control of the knife. The magnet is holding it down to a great extent, which helps out tremendously in keeping the knife stationary. But when you want to move the knife, for instance, when I wanted to get to that choil area, I needed to arc the knife out a little bit so the stone wasn't riding against the frame. You know, that can cause some minor issues as far as getting things lined up, especially for the tip. Alright, so I'm right on the bevel. Sharpie's almost all gone. I am going to concentrate in this tip, so instead of having the knife pushed all the way back, I'm going to pull it out some to angle that frame away from the stone. And I want to work that area. I'm going to keep my finger right there so I don't hit that frame, hopefully. To set the gauge, you just put it on this depth gauge, line it up with your arm and tighten it down. Make sure they're tight. If you don't, that'll come back and bite you in the butt. Alright, to set my 1K, I just adjust the arm here and set it to the depth that we just set the 320 with. And I have found moving this arm to do this to be kind of difficult because of the length again. It's just really long. Once I've got it set, it should be good to go. Reading the Shapton Pro website, they state that you can use water or oil. I was not aware of that. So I'm going to go ahead and arc the knife out a little bit. Get that choil area. Yes, for those of you guys who are watching, a spray bottle is messier. I know this. Picking up with the 2000 grit stone. I really don't need to set the depth. They're pretty much already on the money because they're all brand new. They're all the same size. But I'm going to do it for giggles. you guys want to see a wizard using this system, go check out Spade Knife Works. That man is freaking amazing when it comes to the Edge Pro. His skills are insane. I've never seen edges as mirror polished as he can get on anyone else's work. This is the 5000 grit. I've got a basswood strop here that I'm going to use. Because this stuff is thin, I want to make sure I've got a really light bite on the spring here, which I do. So I've got that set up right where I need and want. And there's also a little bit of a dip, so it's not quite as thick. So I'm going to go ahead and mark the bevel. I'm probably going to have to adjust just a little bit to get that right on. Oh no, that's going to be perfect. I am right on the money. So with a strop, of course, it's all pull, no push. So depending upon the response of this video, this is probably going to be the only time I shoot recording the Hapstone V7. It's just a real pain in the ass for me to get this thing set up with the camera. So this will probably be the only time I actually show it in use. Show you guys the reflectivity of this. Now that's just the 5K Shapton Pro with a little metal polish for a strop on basswood. The metal polish I use is what the hell is it called? I'll show you the bottle here in a second. It's pretty good stuff for aluminum. Works okay with steel, though I think Flitz is better. However, I busted my tube of Flitz. I busted it, so it's all over the place. This is the stuff I use. Good luck finding it. I had a buddy who works at a metal fabrication shop give it to me. I don't know if you can purchase it or not. Let's test a quick sharpness test. And guys, I'm gonna go ahead and do the edge on up edge guesser. $72. This is really hard to do around the camera. 31. 63. 56. And the final test. 70. I do believe this is a first. My belly and my flat have both averaged out to the exact same numbers. This was just a quick demo of the Hapstone system, and these are the results. If you guys have any questions or comments, as always, leave them below. I appreciate you watching. You guys have a good one.